You have a specific goal you desperately want to achieve. You put in the hours and you make the plans, but somehow the final result always slips through your fingers. When you cycle through this pattern enough times, a psychological illusion takes hold. You start to believe you are simply unlucky, or that you live in a chaotic universe that actively denies you what you want. In reality, that ongoing failure has no external cause. The barrier keeping you from your goal is a mechanism operating entirely inside your own mind. This diagram illustrates a dynamic known as the no current. The no current is a hidden psychological process where your unconscious mind actively and secretly rejects the exact things your conscious mind desires, pulling in the opposite direction. True personal responsibility starts the moment you stop blaming fate. You accept that your chronic unfulfillment is a direct effect of your own internal choices, even if those choices are happening completely out of sight. This flowchart details the no current. It's built on early false concepts, like a core conviction of inadequacy. Believing you are inadequate, you subtly adjust behavior to guarantee failure. This failure validates your false belief, keeping the behavioral loop intact. This dynamic even manifests as a fear of success. If you achieve your goal, your unconscious mind calculates that you won't be able to live up to the new expectations, so it rejects the achievement entirely to keep you safe from future exposure. Interrupting this deeply ingrained cycle is incredibly difficult because the unconscious mind actively fights back against the process of self-discovery. This resistance is driven by a very specific terror. Removing the protective layer of the no current forces you to confront a deep, unconscious well of shame you've spent years trying to avoid. The no current acts as an aggressive internal strategist, working around the clock to shield you from the perceived threat of your own shame. Locating this inner enemy requires a specific psychological diagnostic tool known as self-comparison. To use self-comparison, analyze an area of total fulfillment and directly compare it to where you perpetually struggle. The fulfilled side flows freely with certainty. The struggling side lacks this, replaced by blocked channels and heavily guarded choke points. Once you locate the discrepancy, you move to observation. You monitor your daily behavior, watching closely for the moments where you subtly shrink away from your desirable goals. You combine this observation with relaxed meditation and a daily review. Looking back at your actions helps you identify exactly why your old fears are false and why accepting your goal is actually safe. Bringing these observations into the open is crucial. Talking your problems out with another person releases pent-up psychological pressure and gives an objective perspective on self-sabotage. The final decisive factor in this process is you. It requires the raw assertion of your own inner determination and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths. Dismantling this inner saboteur requires replacing your passive wishing with relentless self-interrogation and the consistent observation of your internal resistance. When that hidden resistance is finally exposed, the old fear breaks down. You develop a new attitude of complete acceptance. You can consciously declare that you want your goal with all your heart and that you have nothing to fear from actually getting it. With personal responsibility fully embraced, you see that the internal threats you spent years defending against were never actually there. The chronic tension of maintaining that no dissipates. This massive release of formerly blocked energy often translates into a surge of physical vitality and lasting mental clarity. You achieve a sense of internal unity. This clarity replaces the fear of a punishing fate with an understanding of a predictable, divine order where your outcomes match your internal state. Unmasking the inner enemy stops the chaotic struggle. It leaves you standing on firm ground, ready to build a rich, fulfilled life without fear.